currently driving a BMW 5 Series, and not just any 5 Series. This is the M5. The M5 Competition. It is arguably one of the fastest sports sedans ever built. But before I go into the specifics of what this amazing machine can do, allow me to roll things back a bit and give you a bit of a crash course on the BMW M5's history. The first BMW M5 arrived in the early 1980s, and the story is actually quite interesting because BMW literally took the engine from one of its race cars, the M1, and stuffed it in a mid-size sedan. That was never really seen before from the German car makers. Stuffing a lot of power in a sedan was a very American idea, and many people argue that Bob Lutz, an American businessman, had something to do with that decision. Anyway, the M5 proved remarkably successful for BMW. It evolved through the 80s and 90s. It became the ultimate driving machine, the fastest sports sedan in the world, and many car makers tried to copy it. We had the Mercedes E63S, the Audi RS6. They were extremely quick as well, but none of them came close to the M5. This is the king of sports sedans. If you were to look up sports sedan in a dictionary, chances are there would be a picture of a BMW M5. This is the 6th generation BMW M5, or what enthusiasts like to refer to as the F90. Now, it's been on the market since 2018, but for the 2021 model year, it was submitted to a facelift. As you can see, the headlights are different. Also has a different rear, a few minor styling updates to make it look a bit more like the 3 and the 4 Series, but good news everyone, it does not have the 4 Series grille. This is still the traditional BMW front end. I personally still love the way this car looks. It still has the traditional BMW clean design, very understated but also quite refined. And obviously in M mode, well, you're getting all the traditional M car components, a wider stance, wider fenders, beefier brakes, retuned suspension, recalibrated chassis, and one hell of an engine under the hood. This is the competition package. Just like the M8 that I filmed a few weeks ago, the package gives you 17 more horsepower, so 617 horsepower. Imagine that from this M5. You'll get a few chassis upgrades. This one doesn't have the competition wheels because we're still on winter tires. Unfortunately, yes, it's still kind of cold here in Canada, but in a few weeks, it'll be warm enough to have real summers. Now, this is arguably the most potent and most powerful M5 ever built. And let's go around, I'll show you a few options with this car, notably the sports exhaust that BMW fitted on this machine. So, see the 4 missile silos back here? Now, this is part of the BMW M Performance exhaust package. That's a $6,000 upgrade. However, it is worth the price because these sound really, really good. Now, pricing for the 2021 BMW M5 competition kicks off at $120,000. This one has a $21,000 package added onto it. I mean, it's pretty much the most equipped M5 you can get. Final price, 150 grand for this bad boy right here. But you're getting 0 to 100 kilometers an hour times under 3 seconds. You're getting all-wheel drive, but also rear-wheel drive. I'm going to explain that in a few minutes. This is a land rocket. This is a supercar wearing a tux. It's also very comfortable, and it can also double as a casual family sedan. So come with me. We're out here on a closed circuit, so I'm going to be able to really test this bad boy out without breaking the speed limit, and I'll go through all the features the new M5 has to offer. So obviously all of this tech allows this M5 to be extremely fast and very agile, but also quite docile. Now, I'll give you an example of just how many personalities this car can have. Now I'm in its most docile setting. I'm in its comfort mode. I barely hear it. The exhaust is toned down. I mean, this is the aftermarket exhaust that I mentioned earlier, but it's still quite quiet, very refined. I have some sports bucket seats that are a bit tight, but they're rather comfortable. I have suede here inside. It is, in every respect, a BMW. I even have some pretty cool driving aids that allow me to be very lazy as I drive it. But then when I start playing with its features, when I start pressing buttons and fiddling with some of the car's features, it transforms. It transforms into whatever I want it to be. It can either be a muscle car, it can be a drag strip monster, it can be a supercar chaser on a racetrack, or even just remain a comfortable, casual family sedan to go out in an outing with your spouse or bring the kids to school. Allow me to demonstrate what this can do. So now that I have pre-configured my settings, I'm gonna put it in my M1 setting first. So right away, the exhaust is quite louder. Now this is automatic mode and with all-wheel drive, and the level of grip is unbelievable. Even if I try to get the ass to go out, it's just gonna understeer a bit, and I got a bit of oversteer, but I've got so much grip. Holy cow, this is amazing. I just went out of this curve like a superhero. In all-wheel drive mode then, the M5 was created for the dumbest of drivers. Even if you have absolutely no skills and you're just a fat automotive journalist like myself talking in front of the camera, you'll be able to do superhuman things with your M5. And most of the time you won't even notice what's happening underneath your seat. All of this amazing German engineering will have taken care of it for you, and it'll make sure that you'll get to the other end of the track in one piece. However, if this is not your fancy, if you're looking for something a bit more wild, if you're one of these hardcore blue-blooded automotive enthusiasts that you don't want all-wheel drive, you don't want electronic systems that take care of everything for you, you can crank things up one notch. Now in my M1 setting, the M5 is now rear-wheel drive, its traction control is off, and I'm in full manual mode. My gears also shift faster, which allows it to do this. Oh wow! And of course, the ass kicks out, easy to bring back, and now I'm in its most, oh god, this thing likes to wiggle. I'm in its most aggressive setting, and I need to be alert because it doesn't have any safety nets. Now I'm gonna go even further and put on M mode. Now that's gonna give me the M Performance dashboard. I have the M Performance heads-up display. And while everything is happening, for some reason, the tone of my voice is also louder because I'm a lot more excited and a lot more scared. This is not the big barge that I used to drive earlier. This is a race car in every respect. Even if it looks like a sedan, it is insane. I'm gonna exit this corner here, give it some throttle. Okay, oh, Jesus. Now mind you, I am on winter tires. This is the winter tire spec. It's actually the last week that BMW puts in on winter tires. It's still spring here in Canada. Next week, apparently it'll have the real summer tires and the real performance wheels. So I would have gotten more grip, but I had it this week. So I gotta do with what I have. Anyway, what is BMW gonna do with these tires once they're done? They're probably gonna throw them away. So let's give them a good run for their money. Now, the carbon ceramic brake package is excellent, really good, but oh my God, like it'll create so much brake dust. It'll really get those nice wheels dirty really quickly. So unless you really plan on going on a track with your M5, I don't recommend getting them. Just get the regular M brakes. They're gonna be excellent anyway. And they'll also cost you less in maintenance. They do out here on the track. They work tremendously well, however. Oh, look at that. My God, the V8 engine in this car. Twin turbocharged, 4.4 liter. It's the same V8 engine BMW uses in everything. The M8 competition I drove recently has it. The 7 Series has it. The 8 Series 850i has it. 617 horsepower. It is a tower of power. There's torque all the time. It loves to rev. And with that exhaust, it sounds properly mean. Now listen to that. I have my exhaust on. I'll try to... Oh, yes. But before I run out of gas, I'm gonna go try this car's launch control, because obviously when you're driving a brand new BMW M5 out here in a closed circuit, you wanna try that feature. Now, in order to achieve superhuman performance and be the ultimate sports sedan, the BMW M5 has an enormous amount of settings. And that's where it becomes a bit annoying, because as much as I like a car that can be tailored to your liking, this can become quite confusing. Now, you probably noticed that on my steering wheel, I have two red M buttons. Now, these buttons will be linked to a configuration that I made previously through the infotainment system. And there's a lot of features you can play with. Now, to access all of this, you enter the car's menu and you go in the M menu. Once in there, you can configure M1 and M2, and that's going to open up a full array of different parameters. You can adjust the engine's performance, the transmission, the chassis, the suspension, the steering wheel, and you can even decide to have a car that is either rear-wheel drive or all-wheel drive. Now, why would you want that? Well, since this is supposed to be all sedan for all people, you want this thing to also to drift, to do power slides, to do burnouts, to do launch controls, to beat supercars in a race at the track, but to also carry the kids to school in the morning. And to be able to do all that, you need settings, and the M5 has a lot of those. Wow, what a machine. I mean, did I expect otherwise from the BMW M5? Honestly, no. I've driven this car before and it was spectacular, and it still is. BMW really got its act together in recent years. I mean, there was a time towards the 4th and the 5th generation M5 where things started becoming a little weird. People accused the M5 of being too complicated and too heavy and not as focused as it once was, but not anymore. This is a spectacular machine. It can wear the hat that you wanted to wear. It can be a land rocket. It can be a track machine. It can be a burnout monster, a drag strip dominating machine. And it can also be a BMW 5 Series. Comfortable, well put together, refined, and luxurious. This is the best sports sedan on the market. Fight me. Try to find something that's as accomplished as this. I dare you. Now try to find something as fast off the line. Okay, you're probably going to say E63S, but you know what? BMW has something else coming soon. It's called the M5 CS, and I'm going to review that one next.